Hiya, I'm Jasper, and welcome to your video review for Star Trek Discovery, Season 4. Alright, so, as always, I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the furry. To start off with the furry, yes, there is a little bit of furry in this. Some pretty furry in this, actually. Not a whole lot, but I think it's present a little bit, and then depending on how you define alien creatures as furry, just like the humanoid ones that are in Starfleet or whatever. There's quite a few of those. Alrighty, so moving on. This is season 4 of Discovery, and hopefully you've seen the other 3 seasons, because I'll probably spoil those. I will say that I had planned on rewatching seasons 1 through 3 before watching season 4, but I just kind of ran out of time, and so I didn't. So to catch you up, they are 900 years in the future, and there was the burn, which stopped all dilithium. Turned out to be some Kelpian on a planet, somehow, magically. I don't remember the sciencey explanation for it, but magically he stopped all that, and then when he stopped having his temper tantrum, the dilithium was usable again. So they've been reassembling the Federation. So that's kind of where we are when we start, and then a big new thing happens, and that's going to be kind of the driving thing this season. What I will say is I really think that they've come into their own with this season. So I thought, if I remember correctly, that season 3 was really good. Or at least I know season 2 was miles better than season 1. And I really think that with this one, they're getting good at having the overarching thing be the point. Like, that is what they are doing for the season. Like, that is the arc for the season. But they still manage to have like individual episodes with their own problems that they are able to solve, so you feel like it's not just one long thing, which, don't get me wrong, I love the long thing, but I always thought that Deep Space Nine did a good job of having the long thing while still having the immediate problem of the episode and solving that well enough that you're satisfied. And I feel like they were doing that in this season of Discovery really well. They still have an excellent budget for their CGI. I will say that I felt like a couple times they had a little bit of the season 1 going on where it was a little bit hard to tell, like things were a little bit fuzzy for the background versus foreground bit, but for the most part, really beautiful CGI. And I do think it's funny that Discovery has gone through like their original uniform, the Mirror Universe uniform, the whatever the Enterprise cruise uniform version for this interpretation, which was fine. And now they have their 900 years in the future uniforms. So I just think it's funny that they seem to change uniforms a lot. But in a good way. I think that these are actually the best uniforms that they've had so far, because the initial ones were, I agree, they were a little bit thin and not really work uniforms, but with this one, it felt like there was actually some thickness to the material for the jackety pieces, which I think makes sense as a work uniform. And I still appreciated the transporters that they had like built in, and then the weapons and whatnot. Like, I think that all the technology that they have now, they've managed to make it make sense for when they can and when they can't use it. Like, it wasn't the same problem every time, but it was done in a way so that they would have an excuse to still, have people do things. And so I thought they handled that really well. I also think that it's kind of funny that it kind of reminded me a little bit of Tangled, the TV series, because in Tangled, like, basically, if I remember correctly, and I haven't seen all the episodes, mind you, but from what I've seen of it, every problem in Tangled was able to be worked out if they just talked to people. If you just talked and had a conversation and communicated, that would solve your problem. Not just fighting. Like, there was some fighting in Tangled, but that would solve your problem. And here, it felt like that, which is fun because it's the Federation. That is what they are there to do. But it felt like they leaned especially hard into the, like, hey, this happened, we could have just talked. Like, and now that to prevent more of that happening, look at us talking. Isn't that better than the fighting that was used to solve it the first time? So, yeah, I really appreciated that, because it's fun to get back to that Star Trek-y roots of, hey, let's talk about things. Because, I know that Kirk is famous for punching people, but he did do a lot of talking, and especially Picard. And so I really liked that. And then the interpersonal relationships with some of the people, a couple people I felt like they were like, oh, hey, we haven't delved into you at all, so let's do that. So it felt a little hammy how they like inserted it. But I appreciated that they had that because I do want to know more about these other, not quite other bridge characters, if you will. I feel like there's an out of universe reason for why Kaylee wasn't staying on the Discovery for a lot of the season. So I'm hoping it was a good reason, like they just wanted to do different things with their character, or whatever. But yeah, they still made good use of her character, but I feel like, like she wasn't like, oh hey, we're gonna just have you not be on screen ever for like 9/10 of the show. It wasn't like that at all, but it was a little odd to me that she didn't stay on Discovery. But I can understand with her character's development that it did make sense within the universe. I just gotta wonder if there's an out of universe reason, or whatever. But still fun. Also, the guy from The Mummy Returns was in it. Still, I'd say even more so, and I like that because I like him. You can give me some more of him anytime. And yeah, so that was good. A couple of the other things that I saw was I felt like it felt a little hammy how they handled the person that had the other person inside of them, and then they got them a positronic body or whatever, and they were like, cool, now that's problem solved, so we're going to push them over. So it felt like they focused a lot on it, be like, look, see, we're doing the thing. We're doing better than what we did in the 90s. See? Okay, we got that out of the way. Cool, move them over. So I felt like, they focused on that aspect of it too much as opposed to the character. That's my personal opinion, as is all of this. But and then it's like they didn't need the Trillbart anymore, so they're like, okay, and we're gonna move you over. Okay, bye. So yeah, and then they just, yeah. So I think that they could have done that better to make it not so ham-fisted, and then so like shove it to the side thing. So basically, do better on both sides of things. You're doing too much, and then not enough for me. Grr. So yeah, you didn't do everything perfect for me. Anywho, and then, so yeah, overall, I would give this season a thumbs up. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So with that out of the way, what I will say is that, I don't know if you saw in the news, but Stacey Abrams, a failed politician, played a political figure in this series, in this show. And I highly, highly disagree with that taking place. You can argue all you want about like how political Star Trek is or hasn't been in years, decades past, pushing things forward, whatever else. I don't care about any of that. To my knowledge, and I could be mistaken, but to my knowledge, the only people that have been otherwise like famous that have played characters in here is two people. One was Iggy Pop, who played a Vorta. That's it. Like, he wasn't a political figure in that aspect. He was like, Iggy is not a political figure. He's a rock star of some kind, and he just was on Star Trek as just another character. If you didn't know that was Iggy, which I didn't, because I just found it out in trivia a few years ago. Cool, that's fine. And then you had Ethan Hawke. Sorry, not Ethan Hawke. Not Ethan Hawke. Not Ethan Hawke. Hawkins. John Hawkins. So he played himself in a holodeck program, and that makes sense. That's it. That's it. That's the only people that I can think of that have ever played like that were otherwise famous for something else, other than acting, if you will, that played a character. And Ethan, I'm going to keep saying Ethan Hawke, whatever, was the only one who played himself, and that's it. So I don't think that they should have had any politician, failed or not, racist or not, be in this show, especially playing a politician. That's just really trying to alienate a whole bunch of people. Period. That's not kind of the philosophy of Star Trek of bringing people together. So I highly disagree with that choice. That being said, so I'm going to get, I guess, spoiler alerts for her role. So the series, or the season, is 13 episodes long, and the last episode is like an hour and like 10 seconds. And she does not appear until 56 minutes and 51 seconds in. So if you pause the season at 56 minutes and 50 seconds exactly, you're fine. Because the last 2 minutes before the credits don't matter. So I am holding out hope that Star Trek producers and whoever else will realize that it was a massive mistake to try to ham-fist current political figures into Star Trek political figures, and that she will not have any future role or credits or anything else in season 5. I don't know if I really believe that that'll happen, just because the character that they chose for her and where the season stopped. I could see them going either way. Like, there's definitely an opening for them to continue using that character, and there's also an opening to be like, okay, bye, never see you again in person. And I think that's the only hope that I have personally, because if you just pause 56 minutes and 50 seconds, you don't have to see it, and nothing that happens after she appears matters to the story, in my opinion. It's just general fluff of like, as they walk off into the sunset type of thing. Like the walk off into the sunset doesn't matter, right? you get the point. So, but yeah, ignoring after 56 minutes and 51 seconds in episode 13, I thoroughly enjoyed this season. It was just like really, really good Star Trek. So that's all I have for this one. Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you at the next one. Bye.